Alrighty. So, just jumping in to Mono Workshop number 42. It's quite a number. One of my favorites. So, this session, we're going to be focusing on getting the assets that we've been making in the workshops. Turn that off. What was I saying? For the last couple of workshops. So, the last two workshops, I've been making a bunch of assets in Blender. And so we're going to be sort of taking those from Blender and putting them into a Mona space from start. So we'll do the whole thing there. Just need to check something though. I don't think. No, that seems okay. All right. No, that seems works. Doesn't like the picture though, so I'm not a fan of that. But anyway, so endpoint. Let's jump in. This one. Alrighty. So, let's have a look. Now, I've made a couple of extra assets before the between last workshop and now. So let's just do a quick summary of all of the assets that I've made for the purposes of this whole exercise. So first off, we have some barriers or fences, I guess you could say. Both short and long. We've got like a barrier for long straight areas as well. We've made some sort of just bump areas, I guess you could call them, and quite a few different ones for different sizes. So we can sort of put those together to make different things. We also have some sort of sharper corner ones. We have our lights. Now I do need to edit the texture here because I want that to glow a bit, so I'll probably add that as well in the process. We have some roads. So we've got sort of like 30, 60, and 90 sort of slower curves. And we also have a sort of a short one as well. We have the finish line. Now notice how like the Z fighting is sort of problematic at distance. So if it's bad in here, it's probably going to be worse in Unity. So I'm actually going to tweak that in a sec. Then we just have a straight jump. Because I want to try something. I don't know if it'll work very well, but I'll give it a shot. Then we just have a short bit of road, and then we have some stools for people to sit on with different colors and stuff. Okay. Now, as noted, if you haven't been following along, all of these assets use one material, which looks like that. I haven't used any of those yet. I'll probably get to them eventually. I do want to actually add a whole bunch of assets and then add these to the library so other people could start making stuff. But I'll get to that at some point. Okay, so as noted, the one thing I would like to do here is just raise these a little bit to make sure there's no Z fighting. Now up here, for example, and this, I only just figured this out myself, but it's super useful. If you want to start talking sort of metrics, you've got local, which is where it is, and then global. So if I put that at 0, that'll be exactly on the same as the It's like 10 centimeters, which is kind of probably too high. Yeah, you can sort of see the gap there. 0.01. That's 1 centimeter. So let's give that a shot. See, at this distance, I think that's okay. That is much better than it was. So we'll leave it at that. Alrighty. Now, note that I have put, and this is a little bit more important on the modular side of things. All of them sort of start here. So if I was going to rotate any of these based on the, I think it's individual origin, it's going to be from that point. Now I've noticed in some assets, they'll put it in the corner. But I'm gonna keep it in the middle because I think that's the better way to go. Now the other question that I need to think of is, do we export these as individual things or all together? Let's put them in groups, I guess. Yeah, let's do them in groups. So for that, what we need, so the roads. Okay, I'm just going to turn everything off. And look at putting these together into sort of these like groups of 3. So the reason I've separated them is because maybe I want to put a barrier sort of a separate thing, put them elsewhere, stuff like that. So I can do that in this way. So I'm going to give this a shot for that. And as noted, another thing to note is I'm going to pay sort of attention to these scales. If you can't see it, there's a little arrow here and pull them out. These all need to be 1. Because if they're not, this asset might scale incorrectly in Unity, which we don't want. We want everything to be accurate. So I'm going to check these on each one, just to make sure that that's accurate as well. Export FBX. Now we don't actually have anywhere to put it. So I'm going to quickly make a new Unity project. And for that, I'm going to make sure we get the latest template. So let's go to the docs. These have been updated a little bit, just to sort of create a little bit more easy to read. So for example, we've got how to use Mona. I've also added, where is it? I think it's this one. Because we've added a few more. Checks on. Yeah, there we go. We've added a few more things since we've started. So I've added a few more hotkeys. So for example, V, which we've always had, but I've never put it in here. So V will toggle first and third person. You will hide the UI, which is really good for image previews and stuff like that. If you press I, will hide that little dot, like the little white dot. So if you're doing video or you want to hide that, the reticle is very useful for the new reactor tools. So you can interact with things, but it is possible to hide that if you want. F11, that is a browser thing, not a Mona thing, but you can make the game full screen. Like I can do it even here, like so. So that's quite useful. Also when you're doing video rendering and stuff like that. We also have page up and page down, which is like a tool that allows you to see what the frame rate is for your space. So I've added those if you need to. Avatars, because it's such a big thing, as you can see, sort of created a new section there that goes through all of those. Um, and then we got how to create your space. So we've got creating your space, which is all the basics of sort of Mona. We've got Mona tools, which are things like the template utility, AI material designer, light probe generator, vox importer. We've got all sorts of cool things going there. That'll be growing over time. How to improve your space. So these are optional extras if you want to add these, but make your space better, of course. How to optimize your space. So this is to sort of increase the frame rate of your assets. So by adding prefabs, we can optimize meshes using trim sheets and optimizing the space directly with things like level of detail, optimizing draw calls, texture compression, stuff like that. And then we got submit your space down the bottom here. So hopefully that's a little bit easier to read. We have lots of resources, of course. So we've got the Mona library where you can get all the stuff. We have general resources, so textures and shaders and all sorts of things there. FAQ for general Mona building issues. And Mona tutorials, which is just a lot of the tutorials we have on our YouTube and in our docs. So yeah, that's an update that has happened recently. But we want this one to get our template, which is this one here. So click on that. Download zip. Save, and I always have this on my desktop because I use it all the time. Cool. Let's leave that there for now, just in case. All right. So I'm going to create a new Mona build. So this one is down here. Now, because all of these assets are a bit different from this one, I'm going to just create a... No. I'm just going to... Where is it? Right mouse click. Extract here. All right. And then we're going to rename this one. Now, for those who are new to the Mona space, this template is the project. So basically everything happens in here. If you want to back up your project, it's quite easy to do. You can just go click on the project you want, go Control C. I'll do it as well. Control V. And then you will duplicate it and then rename that. So that would be, say, rename, sorry, Racetrack 3. And then that is backed up. And then you can continue on this one. So that's one way that you can create backups very easily when you've got your sort of space at a point that you don't want to lose. I do recommend doing that. Usually I'll have 3 at any given point, and then start deleting the 4th one once I start doing it, because these can take up a little bit of space as you start building a Mona environment. But that's what we want. So the next thing we need to do is get Unity and open that, because opening the template will create certain... Not that one. Where is it? This one. There. Opening the Mona template will create a number of assets or folders that you can start putting your assets into. So let's do that. So go Mona, builds, Racetrack 2, and then go open. That'll be opened. It takes a little bit. So every time you open up a new Unity project, it will take a while and sort of creates a lot of stuff as it goes. Usually when you open it up a second time, it'll be much faster because a lot of those assets are already made. Like so. Now, first thing we need to do, load space scenes. And we've got our space. Right mouse click up here, remove scene. And there we go, we have a Mona space. Um, Now in here, these are the folders that get made once you load the project. Um, so that's what I wanted. So when I go over here, back to Blender, we can go export FBX, find our racetrack, choose two assets, add your, and this is a model. So let's go selected objects, very important. Now, as a catch-all, I guess, sometimes, and I don't know why this is, uh, Blender will export uh, an asset that isn't scaled correctly. Now, if you're using, it even gives you a warning when this is to do this, for example. So, if there's an animation, how does it work? Known broken with armature and animations. So armature is rigs, so skeleton and stuff like that. So if you're doing VRMs, this is not good. But if you're just doing a model, this will increase the chances just a little bit of working the scale in a space. So most of the time this works, but occasionally it doesn't. So I do this one when I'm not using animation or armatures. So let's have a look. This one, let's just call it road. Short, I think it is. Yeah, short 45. Cool. All right, that's done. That one, that one, that one, that one. A 90. Okay. And that one and that one. Next up. Now this one's interesting because I've got a couple of different barriers, but they're the same thing. So I might just export these as separate ones. So export barrier long. Let's go straight long one. That'll do. Think. So if you can't guess, the naming is kind of important. Otherwise, you get lost real quick. One thing I have noticed in I usually don't do modular so much. I usually just build specific things. So this is kind of a little bit. Well, I've done it before, but yeah. Um, so the order of what do you call it? The order of words groups things better. So say for example, things like road, like all of the roads come together, but then you have things like straight or finish line or corner, and then you got long 30, long 60. But if I put like 31st, then all of the 30 things together would be close. So it depends on like it's really obvious thing, but I always forget it. Naming really saves a lot of time, especially if you spend that little bit of time uh, getting it more correct or useful or utilitarian in the fact that you can use it a bit better. Um, so that's a thing I would recommend. Make sure to select the thing you're exporting when you've got selected. Okay. Now, next up. Maybe I should have actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna do the 45s. Hmm. So the thing is, like, if I put it all together, then I have to delete things, and that's fine. No, I think. Then we can make prefabs in Unity. Maybe? Just trying to think what's the best way. So what I'm thinking of doing is adding these two. So all of it is like all of this is to do with the short thing. Um, and then once I'm in Unity, I can make some prefabs that will sort of optimize some of this. Maybe not too sure which is the best way to do it, to be honest. Because I could do all of these as separate objects and then just drag and drop. Um, let's try this. I'm wondering if the one file might reduce the file size as well. Um, so that's an interesting case. Let's give it a shot. If anyone more technical knows more than I do, feel free to tell me. To be honest, it probably doesn't matter that much. So, okay. Those two. Next up, barrier. Longs and shorts. So let's do that. Barrier. Is the barrier for that one? Do I have a barrier for that one? Maybe I didn't do one. I don't think I did. That's interesting. Okay, well, I'll add one eventually. Let's export that. Done. Now I could actually. No, I can't because I got the chicanes. Cancel that. Okay. Those are done. Light box. So we want all of that. Um, traffic light, traffic. What do you call it? Start lights. Art. Sure. That's that done. Corner's done. Finish line. Not done. Hope the jump works. Wish there was a loop to loop. That would also be cool. But physics is not a thing. Do I export all three stools as one? Sure. That's it, basically. So let's do all that. And just in case, I'll save. Now, our space. Let us look. So as you can see, we have our models here, and they're all great. Now, that is because we don't have our texture. So let's grab that. Now, if I recall, that one. So let's just drag that into textures. So, shrink that one down. And then we need a material as well. So I'm going to right mouse click here, go create material, and then just go color base, because that's it. And the whole space. Although with the terrain, we're going to have to add a couple of materials for that one as well. So not as true as I would have hoped, but that's fine. So drag that into albedo. Let's put the smoothness down to maybe like 0.2. That works. That's it. Now the thing is, we also need emission for that light. So I'm gonna quickly do that because I kind of want to see that. I believe it was this one. Okay. Now what we're going to create is a new emissive map, basically. So I'm going to make this in a new section. Now the emissive map. How can we do this? So most of it we want to be zero emissive because we don't want everything to glow. So I'm just going to quickly do that, like so. All right. And then we're actually going to grab both of these. Hang on. Yep, it is both of those. So I'm going to duplicate those. Like so, put them up here. And I'm hoping that that's it. Now, the catch though is like this is a lot of non-information. And the emissive is not something you get much detail on. So we can actually scale this down. So that's only 512 by 512, but let's put this at 64 by 64, I think. Nope, not that one. Image size. Right? So it's very small. Maybe too small. Yeah, maybe two. Maybe too small. Just a little bit. So let's make that. Now, note all of these have to be like by powers of 2. So 32 by 32, 64 by 64. Our textures can be like 32 by 64. So as long as they're by 2, it's fine. Yeah, that should be enough. So let's export that. In our racetrack textures. So I've got a color base and color base emissive, which is what we want. And then we can drag that one here. And I'm going to bump this up to 2. So yeah, emission is two things, like is like the color. So it can be an image, it can just be the color if you take off the image. I'm going to leave that white because this is green and red. So this will glow the right colors. And then you have the intensity. And for some reason, I'm not too sure why this happens, but um, this intensity will adjust on its own. I do not know why. So occasionally, you might need to tweak that. And if I show it again, it'll be 2. So that's fine. So what's happening is you've got that there. So if I change that to a square, you can kind of see what it's doing. That doesn't look exactly what we want. So let's go back a bit and change these colors a little to just what we want them to be. So I'm going to get rid of the inner glow and just have that. That seems much better. There we go. Much better. So the intensity of the emissive does kind of change the color a little bit. So play with that as you see fit. Now notice how this is a bit darker. That's fine because up here is lighter. So emissive will be where there's no light, and then the light will be in the normal. Also light mapping, which I probably will be doing on the space, will play a part in these sort of things in regards to adding adding or subtracting light from the emissive. So very useful element when you're doing cool stuff like this. Okay, so what do we need? We need, well, I kind of want a terrain, so I'm actually going to delete this, and for the purpose of, I might get rid of the portal. I'll put one in later. What I'd like to do with this whole series is, if other people want to make tracks, I'd like to make it so you can actually portal to different tracks. I think that'd be cool. But for now, I just want to get rid of it. So let's add 3D object terrain. Now, small note with terrain is quite an interesting thing. This is too high, way too big, because I actually want this to be low polygon. If I have a mix of high polygon assets and low polygon assets, it doesn't look very good. So you always want your style to be across the board. Now the thing with terrain, and I'm kind of new to a lot of it. This one we want brush, is we can go up, and that's fine. But the thing is, you can't sort of go down. So you can go up, and if you hold shift, you go down, but you can't go lower than the lowest position. So if I wanted to create like a lake or something like that, which I do because that'd be cool, I would have to reduce this lower and then make most of it higher, if that makes sense. Now, what I'd like to do though, I want to make sure, and to be honest, I'm not even sure how to do this. So here we go, maybe. So I want the actual terrain to be, yeah, that'd be it. Maybe. Oh. That draw distance. Okay, so draw distance is how clear it looks from a distance. So if I put this like 1, it's gonna look bad, but that'll be faster, if that'll make sense. So I'm gonna put that at 1,000 is fine. Detail distance. This one. Actually, what I'm gonna try to do, I'll put that up like that, and then do it. See what happens. Yeah. And I'll leave these by default unless it does what I want it to. Is that better? It's pretty low. I want it really low. The thing is also, and this is super useful, if you roll over anything, it'll give you the information of what it's trying to do. So, for example, detail distance, the distance from camera beyond which details will be culled. Now, culled means it will be cut out so it doesn't get rendered, which speeds things up. So that's like an optimization thing. Whereas this one, the number of detailed grass objects in a given unit of area, the value can be set lower to reduce the rendering overhead. So these are like not things that I want to be doing right now. Here we go. Terrain width, terrain height, detail resolution. Let's put that to 16. Put this down to 512. Right. So notice how these numbers change, and that's kind of what we're looking at in regards to reducing the amount. So that looks a little bit lower polygon, which is kind of what we want. Kind of want it less, actually. Let's go. 8. Make it really obvious. Kind of the same. This is way too big. Is it? It's gonna be a whole track. No, leave that as is. Those as is too. Yeah, okay. And if I'm doing light map, which I will be, we can adjust this if needed. So I'm once again going to keep it a default. Defaults are usually a good way to start, but then adjust that. So I'm just going to remember that that's there. Once again, I'm kind of new to auto to terrain, so there's that. All right. Now, next thing we need to do. This is the 000 here, and I don't want the terrain there. I actually want it over here. So about there. Cool. Note, I am very small. That's it there. Um, so that's that. What else do we want to do? We also want to reduce this a little bit. So I'm going to press the white box to sort of go flat on. And I'm going to reduce this by, let's say, 2 meters. Do we want people to be able to swim underwater? No, 1.5. Because then they can walk because we don't have swimming yet. So that's where we're at. Once we get swimming, I'll adjust. Okay. So that's kind of that. Now notice how when I moved it down, our little guy turned blue. So there is an element where the collider of the thing, if it is exactly at 0, it will be red. So you actually want things to be. You probably want the terrain guy. That's what I'm gonna call him. The terrain guy to be raised a little bit. So there's that. Now the thing we want is set height, because we want this to be 1.5. So if I do that, yeah. So as you can see it going flat, and it's back to 1 point high. So that would be 0 then. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So notice how it's exactly at 0. So I'm going to move him up. Now this is going to take a while, so I'm going to actually make this really big. Brush size. Now, once again, the reason I'm doing this is because terrain can't go down, and I want it to go down because there are some areas that I'm going to want um, like a pool because I think that'll be nice. The catch is, yeah, got to do this. Um, Now you might not be able to see it on the stream. Actually, it's very subtle, but I can kind of see the the difference between uh, the low end and the high end. So bear with me while I just sort this out. Nearly done. It's a lot of land. An easier way to do this would be maybe to have like a different brush so you could sort of see exactly, but yeah, I haven't done that yet. Now I'm also not worrying about like, no, probably shouldn't we? Having a grade base is not going to be very good. Okay, that'll do. So let's do that. Let's go. What is that? Razor lower, paint holes, paint texture up that one. Um, so we need a new texture, and for this one, let's just go material, terrain, grass. Yeah, we'll go grass. Now, of course, eventually I'm going to add like an actual texture, maybe. Um, but for now, let's just do that. Rain, create layer. And if I recall, okay. So we actually need to paint a texture, which we don't have. So let's do a quick. New. I kind of want it to be really low resolution. So I don't want to do too stylized. So let's just do that for the moment and we'll see how we go. Now, the other thing I could use here is the AI generator. Um, but I'm going for a very stylized approach, so I don't actually want that. But yeah, if you were using like stylized or even realistic, you could use the AI texture generator to do some cool stuff there. Like if I decided to just go with that, I could actually do it with like 1 pixel, I think. So all right, edit terrain layers, create layer. Oh, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. Drops. There we go. Done. And then I can do some cool stuff with like other stuff. Um, but yeah, that'll do for now. Okay, so we have our terrain. Our spawn point is a little bit too low, therefore red. So I'm going to move it up slightly. And it can be like 0.001 actually. So that said, like I'm gonna put it like a little bit up. So 0.1. So it drops a little bit just because. All right. So let's get some organization going. Terrain. No. Environment. Environment. That's the one. Okay, and then we can start putting some tracks down. Now, to make a racetrack, you need a road. So let's make a road. And by road, I mean track. um, and we always start at the finish line. There we go. Interesting. Now, either I'm going to do that. No. Yeah. So just check. Now, notice how there's no Z fighting. We were talking about how the Z fighting works with those lines. Yeah, so that's perfectly fine. Cool. Right. So let's start making a track. Um, that's the barriers. We want, what do we want? Road. Okay. So one super useful thing, especially with modular stuff, is if you press V, I'm gonna move it up here a bit. Now I could sort of like just drag, but if you hold V, it'll go to the selected object, and then you can just snap. And then it lines up perfectly. Now, if I wanted to, which I do, I'm going to sort of play with this a bit. Then we can just go like that. So let's go there. And we kind of want that to be 3. Why is that? Yeah, not too bad. Not too worried. All right. So what do we do? Oh, I wanted to cross. I have to figure that one out actually. Yeah, worry about that later. All right. We want a long curve, I think. 90. Do we want barriers? Oh, we don't have barriers on this one. That's right. Ah, up there. B. Ah, that's better. Now, if I just hold down Control, that will also snap. So if you've built things modularly and correctly, you can either use snap or snap. No, you could either use snap movement by using control. That'll snap it across every like 1 meter or half a meter. I forget. You can actually set the amount. Where is it? There, I think. No, grid visibility. Where's snap? Ah, it's up here actually. Edit grid and snap settings. So you've got those there if you want to do it. So if you snap at 0.25 meters, rotate at 15, scale at 1. So you can adjust the grid and snap settings if you want. The other one is, of course, yeah, using V to put your vertices aligned as best you can, sort of thing. Now, once we have our assets kind of on here, we can actually just duplicate rather than creating a new one. So I'm going to sort of just do that. Snap with Control. Move that over there. And F to sort of focus on it. And then V to snap there. Okay. And just to be cool, we're going to put our jump in because I want to jump. So the snap's super useful. So what I'm thinking of doing is sort of like doing a jump and a loop. Uh, mm, yeah, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. Okay. So you got a bit of a run up, so that's cool. Jump. So we need two jumps. Now my worry is I don't think we can jump very far. So, um, not sure how to do that actually. I guess we'll find out. So this needs to be, let's say, 3 meters. I don't think it's gonna make it. I'm gonna have to test that actually. Let's try 3 meters. Okay. Now notice how we have the grid. We probably want to keep everything to the grid. So if you look at that, it's very close to 70, but I want it to be 70. And that's why the pivot point is very important. And now that that's on that, I can sort of snap easier and it'll keep to that. I don't think we're going to be able to make the jump. Because we're using VRMs and you have to use like human mechanics. Humans can't jump 3 meters. But let's give it a try. All right, I'm going to save this. We'll give it a shot. How 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 big are we looking? So at the moment, if this works, is that right? No. Yep. All right. Less than a meg. It's a very slow track. Yep. Okay. Can we make it? Oh no. Yep. Cool. Good. Great. Let's try that again. So this one, now because this is a low polygon object, um, I would be willing to put a mesh collider on it. I will accept that. Everyone knows my views on mesh colliders, but this is a super low polygon, so it's fine. But yeah, if just a heads up, if you are doing a more high polygon asset, now once again it has to be high polygon in Mona is medium polygon on the grounds that you need to optimize your space to work in WebGL space. So if you have a medium polygon asset, like say a statue or whatever it might be, it could be anything to be honest, create a much lower resolution version of it, like super low polygon, that represents just what it looks like to walk into. And then use, like, say, for example, if I was going to replace this with the jump, it's not this asset, it's the grid one, right? So I would drag the grid, and as you can see it there, drag that onto it, and that would allow you to use a optimized mesh on your thing. So that's kind of cool. Now, small note, one thing I've realized recently, I believe, if you save before building the playground, you don't have to delete the playground files. So I'm going to double check that. I can't believe this whole space is less than a meg. That's excellent. Yep. Oh, tons. Excellent. All right. Okay, so what do we think we can do? Bonk, bonk. Easy. Okay. F to move. So let's go three more. Because that'll actually be what we want it to be. So the road is six, right? So got one, two, three, four, five, six. Let's go just a little bit more. So we got that point there, and then it's aligned. Okay, cool. Save. Playground. Oh, nearly made now. Nearly. Excellent. Could even go maybe more, but that's actually what I want it to be because the road is going to be driving under there, so that's pretty cool. Can I walk and jump? No, you can't. Excellent. This is what we want. Perfect. This is going to be the best racing game ever. Right. So the theory is I'm going to go a quick race up there, over there, around there, there, and then there. That's what we want to do. Do we want that to be shorter? Kind of do. Kind of do. So for that, now can I snap this? I can. Excellent. Cool. Let's do this again. So duplicate. Do, 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 do. If that lines up perfectly, kind of does. That's great. And then we need. I want a hairpin. How can we do a hairpin? I want to do too much cool stuff. Like a hairpin and then a curve, or long. Mm, tricky. Best approach. Try it and find out. There are other versions of that sentence, but I'm going to use that one now. Road. Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. This is what we're talking about in regards to sort of like what's going on. Why is that high? Ah, because interesting. Hmm. So we move the road up? No. Yes. Oh, interesting. I'm going to fix that. Why? Okay, interesting. I have to play with that a bit, I think. But let's try this. Yeah, that looks better. It works. Um, what I might do because this is a hairpin. I want to. Nah, nah. Do I want to get rid of? Yeah, I think I do. So just delete those. Okay. So, and this is one of the problems with sort of combining everything into one. Is this is technically in a way a prefab. And if I want to edit that, I would have to go to prefab, unpack, and then I can do whatever I want with it, such as delete those. Um, so now that I've sort of made one, I could make a prefab of that. So let's do that just to show the example of it. So let's say we want to use this as a standard for other assets. I could drag that into prefabs, right? And then it changes to a blue box rather than a blue box with the white thing. And then if I duplicate that and do whatever I want, every time I edit this one thing, it will edit all of them. And that's a really useful thing to save time, but also, well, yeah, just to save time. That's a thing. It'll do for now. That's annoying. Okay. So duplicate that. Snap, 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 snap. Save some time by going that. No, a little bit more. That one. And then we want, this one again. Duplicate to there. F to focus. V to snap. Oh, okay. So we want to go there-ish. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like the fact that this is one texture. That like, I really like that. To be honest, put that in there. F to zoom in. V to snap. Okay. So, do we want to do some cool stuff? Yeah, I think we do. But I don't know anything about racetracks. So, wish I was a professional in everything, so I just knew. Okay, I've got that. I want a chicane, chicane. Um, let's yeah, let's do some just racetrack. Okay, this is cool. You. Oh, what's that one? 5 rules of racetrack design. Oh, they have it. Oh, no, that's a bridge. It's like there's a jump. Yes. Oh, kind of disappointed. Okay. Oh, I haven't actually thought about a uh, what do you call it? The thing where you do the stuff. The pit stops. I didn't do that. I'm gonna have to think about that. Straight curve, 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 curve. Yoop, yoop, yoop. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. What do they say? Don't make your track too hard to drive. Aim to create a circuit that works for a variety of car setups. Topography is key. Design your circuit for your target market. Who's the target market? Asphalt run off is safest, but there's still a place for gravel traps. Good to know. I like that track. I kind of want to just copy that. Okay, let's do some of this. and put this on that screen. That one? Okay. I do actually want a bridge, and I could technically do one. For now anyway. So I could do a jump and then just join one of these on the bottom. The catch with that though is you wouldn't see underneath it, which would be a bit weird. So the thing is also the jump would need to be that's a point. The the jump would need to be 2 meters high because otherwise the collider, yeah, it's close. The collider would stop the car going through. Now, note that the goal here is making VRMs that look like cars. The catch with that is the collider will stay human. Um, so, yeah, we need to consider that while designing our environment. Okay. So, um, let's, let's just like do some weird stuff around here. That'll work. Um, long 30? Was it 45? Let's do a 45. That one. Yeah, that. There we go. Need to rotate that there. Yeah. Note this one has the barriers. So I think for now, anyway, I'm going to um, unpack these, get rid of the barriers, repack them, because that's going to be the standard for the purposes of this track. So not it. That's it. Okay. Let's grab along one. Duplicate. Now that is 45 degrees, so I'm just going to do 45 degrees with snap. Like that green. Why is that green there? Good. Now it's not there. Okay, cool. Um, the thing is, like matching matching these two is going to be interesting. I don't even know if I can do it, so we'll see. Might need to fudge a few things, but should be interesting to see either way. Okay, so let's do. Kind of want to go. Kind of want a bridge. Pew, 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 pew. Planning, everyone. The way to go. Um, yeah, that could work. So like do a fuzzy sort of chicane over there, jump over there, loop up around there. Maybe. I don't know. What do we got? Feel like I should put these like a long 60 in there somewhere. Let's see what that does. Again, it's a bit low, so I'm just going to snap that. Easy to do. Thing. Easy. I don't want to do that one again, actually. Dunk. Yeah, so you can see that it's very slight, but you want to make sure you snap the right one. And then that goes away. Like so. Excellent. So what I'm gonna, because I haven't thought about these sort of things. So what I'm probably gonna do or end up doing is actually separating all of these models after all. So this was a good test. And then have the choice of having like longer ones or shorter ones, that sort of thing. Yeah, another one. Yep, that one. Is that it? Nope. Once again, make sure you get the right one. There we go. Okay, that's a nice curve. I like that. Um, the thing is, I actually have two 90s as well, so I could just use that like that. Um, okay. Um, cool. Don't be knocking them. Yeah. Yep. Now, as much as I like having like this modular point at each one, this one doesn't work unless I like scale it to minus, I guess. But don't really want to do that. So this time I'm gonna actually have to do that. As in just put it the wrong way. There's no wrong way technically. Definitely starting to look like a track though. um, maybe two more kind of thing. Nope. Uh, Again, just make sure you use the right one, and then snap the right one, and then it'll look all nice and neat, like so. All right, that's cool. So we got our chicanery. Um, kind of want a bridge. Uh, um, what do we want there? Maybe just something up here. That would work. So we need to go... I don't even know what direction or angle we're up to for that. So let's do sort of a shorter one. Yeah, maybe a shorter one, which would be this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so these are 30s and 60s and stuff, and that's a 45, so that would probably not be great. Because we want this to be a... We want this to get straight somehow. Um, so maybe this one actually. Yeah. Straight. Excellent. So, question, do we do a bridge or do we do just a loop? Hmm. Bridge. What a bridge. Yeah, that'd be great. So for now, I'm just gonna duplicate. Yeah, that's the one. I'm actually just gonna grab this and put it up here and kind of see how it goes. Excellent. So let's put I'm gonna put box collider on that one because that's what's gonna have to kind of be. See how that goes. All right. I'm actually going to test that because if I can't run under it, that voids the whole concept. I could actually scale that up a bit, um, just because I can. But let's give it a test. Ooh, thank you, QA. So as if you have any issues, for example, this one, all of these assets are outside of the space folder. So if you collapse all three assets, artifacts, portals, and space, there should be nothing seen. So these are incorrect. So let's just drag these into the track. And then we're good to go. Oops, I should have saved that. I'm just going to delete that because I know it's probably not going to work. Save, build. How big is it now? Less than it was last time? Sure. I know how computers work. That's fine. Okay. So, will it work? Yes, it will. The thing is also like when you're doing like level design is like how do you it's really easy. Oh, cool. Yeah, bridge is staying. I also need to make that like more interesting. So the light, like the shadow over this direction, doesn't look very good because you're going to start here. So I want the light to go the other way, um, just to do that. Um, so like a lot of this is like it's pretty cool. It's fine, but I'm pretty sure that like there could be ways to make this more interesting. Like I'm sure there's a whole art form to designing racetracks. So I'm sort of running on this. Like, what does it look like from up here? Um, but I do like the bridge, so I'm happy we could have that. Um, the other option is we make that a bridge and make this a jump. Yeah. So I think that would look better like as a level design, because when you're starting, when you want you won't have races. Well, I guess some people would be jumping. Like we're not. No one is ever going to play this properly. So um, that's another part of your level design in Mona is assume everyone is going to wreck it. Yeah, that's better. I still do want to edit the light, I think. So I'm going to grab that and move it in a different direction. So just go center and global and put it maybe that way. Um, yeah, good. Um, so let's do a quick close off here. Yeah. Um, Now, this, of course, is not going to be the final design. I'm going to play around with it. I'm going to test it and do all that sort of stuff. This is purely a space made in 2 hours or less. So let's that has to be that long. Yeah, let's do some basic ones. Let's do that. Duplicate. Control D. That one. Control D. Notice how I'm using like just control. Well, you probably know how I'm using the control button, but I am using the control button to sort of create the snap, so it just saves a lot of time rather than using V every time. So let's go that a bit more. So maybe there. Yeah, it'll work. We want two of these. Nope. Top, please. Thank you. Um, Probably let's just grab that one. Let's grab this. Put that one up there. That, move it down to there. We want that because those two, we know those two are aligned, so I can just grab, theoretically, I can just grab this at the right level. and then we can match these up. But yeah, you'll have like a slight thing there. Now, what I might end up doing is just overlapping it a bit and hope no one ever notices. There we go. I feel like this should be like a line because it looks like a lot of tracks. Yeah. So if anything, I might try and sort of do a like a line there, like straight down, because you got this sort of like all this sort of interesting stuff, and then this very boring. So yeah, that would be one thing I would probably try and clean up there, but I don't mind that at all. Okay, now we need a couple of other things just to sort of finish this. So we have the start lights, which can go there. Ah, that's interesting. So here we have a normals direction issue. Um, and that should be on the pivot, so that would be good. And I have to fix that in Blender, and I will show you why in just a moment. So as you can see, like the box is facing the opposite direction, like everything's a little bit weird on the box. So let's have a quick look at that here. So let's go numpad period to focus on this. Now, a quick way to see what this is looking like is blue is good, red is bad. And that's in this little pull down here and face orientation. So we need to make sure all of these are the right way. So I'm going to go to edit mode, select all of those. Yep. And then go to mesh, normals, flip. So that all looks good, except for this one. But those are separate objects. So I'm going to select that and then just go once again, mesh, normals, flip. I'm going to hide that one. Mesh, normals, flip. There we go. Make sure the greens are okay. Good. Get those three assets there. And then once you save it over, and this is the thing I love about Unity, everything will update great. So start lights, export, fixed. Cool. Now, one thing to note is we have an asset, for example, and it has low poly underscore material. Now, that's the imported one, when the one we want is actually color-based because of the light here. So I'm going to use all of these, go to, oh, well, that's annoying. So I'm gonna have to, which one, why? Yeah, those are all low poly. Okay, fine. Yeah, so material editing on multiple things doesn't work. So we're basically gonna have to drag it on every single one. So all of the assets materials that we're looking at so far is actually based on what's imported, but it's a very simple one. It doesn't do a very good job. So what I will usually do is create my own material so I have more control over it, and then just drag this into this asset every time if it lets me. So this one, yeah. And just go apply. So for that, once again, just drag that in, apply, drag that in, apply. So it takes a moment, but does the job. And then every time you change that material in Unity, so for whatever purposes, be it the smoothness or the what have you, these will all update with it, which is kind of super useful for ultimate control. Won't be a moment. Um, Now, the reason we want to use emissive is so when the lights go, um, they look like they glow. This one here especially. So, nope, that one. So it looks a bit glitchy there, but we'll see how it looks in Mona before we undo any of that sort of stuff. Okay. Um, so that's good. So, say for example, if we adjusted the metallic of everything, so it's super shiny, um, everything is updated except that one. That's interesting. Why? Rope short 45. Oh, that's the prefab. Hmm. Interesting. All right. Let's just open that. Okay. Why? Oh. So this is a good example of prefabs when they work properly. So now that I'm in it in the prefab itself, when I go back to scenes, all of this one will work. Um, so that's a short one, for example. Let's do this one. This is a better example. So I'm going to go right mouse click prefab. So I can open asset in context or in isolation. So in isolation means by itself, like this, but maybe I want to see it in the space. So open asset in context, and it'll be here, and it'll only show that. So then when I drag that, it'll update all of the assets that use it. So that's super useful. And then go back up to scenes, and then it's done. So that's a good use of prefabs and the ability to adjust as needed. So I'm going to turn those down back to something normal. Um, okay. As cool as that did look for a second. Now, once again, this is outside of the space. So I need to make sure that that goes in there. And close that. All right. So we have our thing. Um, let's do a couple more small things. Um, like a barrier. Let's put a barrier in. Mm-hmm. So that's two. I want to get the second barrier as well, just for color sake. Now I could put some branding and stuff on there as well. I guess I don't know. There's lots of things you could do. I'm sure that's a safe idea. Well, okay. Let's tweak that a bit to maybe there. Yeah, seems a better idea. Now my stools seem like a bad idea now because this is like a proper race, so I'm gonna have to get some proper seating. I think that'd be much better. Um, Now the other thing, might want to tweak these two as well because I kind of want to put that there. Now we do want these to be. Um, Actually, what I'm going to do. Nah, doesn't matter. Basically, what I want to do is box collider. Boop. run into them. Okay. And the last thing I'd like to do is actually put these green lights to like animate every now and then. I don't know, just for now. Um, but let's have a look at it and see if the glow looks good. And if it doesn't, we will tweak that. So, save, do a quick run. Another couple of issues. Thank you, QA. Just in case. Save. Yeah, they don't look as good as I'd like. Hang on. Is it S? Nope. This is playground, so I can't tweak some of those things. Okay. Yeah, I can improve that, I think. Might need to do a bigger resolution, actually. I think the rule for this is you have to make your own car sounds. Like, I think that's pretty important. Oops. I do like the jump. One down. Excellent. All right, done. Um, okay, so a couple of things we need to do. Improve this. Oh, I didn't save it. No. Okay. Hit those two. There. Turn that off. Turn that off. Yeah, that's fine. What I might do is turn off inner glow, do outer glow. Nice. Shrink that down. More opaque. Not that opaque. Like that. That'll be good. So duplicate that, copy that, sorry. Paste on that one. Save that as our new missive. Looking better already. All right, cool. Now what we want to do, just quickly, is do an animation for this one. And for that, we need this. So animation. Now, if you want to see animation and animator, they're in the window, animation, animation, and animator. So click on your asset that you would like to animate, or a parent of all of the ones that you would like to animate. Go to animation, go create. Let's just call this lights. Let's do a simple loop. We'll start with that. Okay. So what's going to happen is we're actually got green and red. And we want to basically hide the green and show the red. Like so. Once again, if you have the record button on, anything you edit pretty much will basically be recorded. Um, so we basically want that to happen, and then every, I don't know, minute. So I'm going to click the top one, go Control C, Control V, and then one frame up, and then switch those two. Once again, record is still on, so I can do that. Boonk, boonk. And let's keep that on for 30 seconds. Now that's actually 1 second. So we actually want this to be a little bigger. Um, hmm. Actually, that's the thing, because we want everyone to, and that's the interesting thing here. Like this is on a loop as soon as the space starts. So we don't want people to wait for a minute before it says go. We actually want them to wait, let's say 20 seconds for people to jump in and then go and then loop for, let's say a minute. I don't know. So in that case, we actually want this to happen 30 seconds in. No, 20 seconds in, I think is the good as any. um, and then we want that to be green for maybe 10. So that's 30 seconds, which is about there. And then we sort of want the red again. For the full minute. Um, so I'm actually putting the green sort of in the middle rather than at the start or the end, just because that makes the most amount of sense. And then it will loop here. So basically you got like 20 seconds red, 10 seconds green, 30 seconds red again, and that will loop after that. So that's kind of what we're going to go with. Dunk, dunk. Cool. Now I could do a reactor for this. So someone would trigger the go. But for now, I'm gonna leave reactor out of this. We'll just keep it simple for today. But just as a introduction, reactor allows you to control the animator. So if I had like a couple of, like, let's say for example, a few different animations here, I could sort of go to this one or go to that one or go back, depending on certain conditions, which are parameters or variables, whatever you want to call them, but parameters are what they call them. And so I can trigger these parameters by name using Reactor, which is super powerful, but a bit outside of today's checklist. So we'll leave it at that. But that's cool. For now, oh, we were gonna. I was actually gonna put two of those over there. That's what I was gonna do. No, we'll leave it for now. Okay. Cool. So we have our track, basically. All good. Now, if I wanted to, let's do some. Let's do something like this one. A bit smaller, please. Yeah. So let's put some water in here. Maybe. Oh, that's texture. This one. No. Yes? Ah, this one. That's what we want. That's going up, which we don't want. We want down. Like so. Big, I think. And this is why we did that whole thing at the start with the what do you call it? With the moving up a little bit. Um, so basically, we can go down. Um, and on that, I'm going to create a new 256 by 256. We're going to make this one brown. Little desaturated. In order to terrain that and put that in there. So that is texture, add a layer. Oh, okay. So if you click on each one, you can sort of add, like, this is where you make the material. You don't make the material down here, you actually make it in here. So I could actually get rid of terrain grass and that'll work fine. Um, but let's do not that one. Not working. Ah, because it's super faint. Basically, there we go. And this allows you to do cool things like terrain. So what I'd like to put like is above this is just like some water. But we'll worry about that another day. Oh, we could put a like, oh, that'd be cool under that, like a little river thing. Should I? Yes. Because that'd be cool. Hang on. Ah. So opacity and that on texture and painting here is okay. So just as an example, put that in there because that's cool. Cool. Now, if I wanted to, also, this is probably the more important thing actually. So let's put that down to 5. Um, is we can do sort of hills and stuff. So if I wanted to, um, let's put that up a little bit. Uh, let's go something like that. Actually, hilly and really big. Maybe too big. Let's go 20. Um, they can sort of do sort of a cool effect in regards to like environments. Now, one thing we definitely want to do is get rid of the skybox because I hate the Unity skybox. So for that, I'm going to go to Polyhaven, and this can be the last thing that we're going to throw in today. So we want a nice sky. That's not bad. Eh, this is nice. So choose one that works for your environment. So I want something like really distant. So those some of the big hills ones was actually pretty good. These trees are sort of too close, if that makes sense. So that wouldn't look as good. So you sort of want to find whatever one works for your particular case. I think for the sake of time, I may just stick with that original one because it did look pretty cool. If that was a better day. So, for example, that one's very, very far. It's kind of all right. See, those trees are too close. But if I put the mountains higher than those trees, that would actually work out. So there's ways around it. There's always ways around it. Cool. Like distance away, and the bit down here doesn't matter because like that's going to be covered by the ground or the terrain. So yeah, it sounds like just very much a case of whichever one works. The thing is, I definitely want something that's bright. So like a very clear day, something like this. Then you got road, which like, and of course you could tweak it, like you could edit it in Photoshop and whatnot. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, saving time. I'm gonna go to the top one because that was fun. Um, yeah, let's do this one. Yeah, so all of this will probably, hopefully, be covered. Then you got like big mountains in the background, which is actually pretty good. So let's do that. Now, the skybox is the only 4K texture you're allowed, basically, in a Mona space. They take a lot of hard drive. So this is like an 82. So you'll notice that, like, if I do this, well, let's compare. So before I even touch it in, let's save and then go playground and see how big this is. And then when you add the skybox, which makes it look nicer, it's going to be a bit bigger. So this is now still less than 1 meg. Let's have a look at it. We got like the mountains in the background, which makes it look much more interesting. Then we have our oh no. So we have to put a box collider on that. So I'm gonna put like a water plane above that. I don't mind it. Now we do have like really dark here, and the skybox might actually fix this up. So I'd like to leave it for now and show you how we can do that. So, all right, less than a meg. Save as. So I'm going to put this in my folder. Once I find it, here we go. Technically a texture, so I'll put it in there. That. So, let's look at making a skybox. I've got a McLaren's thing here. Now that's 10 meg. So this is going to add 10 meg to our file size just for this image. Now I could reduce the size of that. So this is 4096 by 2048. I can adjust that here if I wanted to, but I'm going to see what it looks like and if it's worth the 10 meg. So we need to do a couple of things. So first, texture type. We need to turn this into, no, texture shape. Turn it into a cube and go apply. and that's already big, but that's because we can do stuff like that. We also need a material. So I'm going to do material. And we want to turn this into skybox cube map. And then we can drag our cube-shaped object into there. And then we can drag our new material. So let's call this skybox. And all we have to do is drag that into there. Now notice how the color of this is changing. It's because this is a skybox. That's it. Save. Playground. Got that. And let's check file size now. I don't think that updated. So I'm going to delete that and then try again. Yeah. So this one texture has added 22 meg. Let's see if it makes 22 meg of difference. That again. So the mountains look like, and this is the weird thing. Like, say for example, we've been focusing on like a low polygon style, but then you have these realistic things in the background, which doesn't actually look very good. So I would probably actually edit it somehow, or like actively try to make it look like everything else. Um, so yeah, that's certainly something we could do. And yeah, for the style that we're going for, 23 meg is definitely not worth it. So let's look at some options there. So I'm going to delete that one. So let's see what happens if we go to that and then we make it 256. Doesn't look any different. Why doesn't it look any different? What's that about? It's also much smaller. So let's give that a shot and see what happens. Now, because I deleted the playground files, I didn't need to save it if I didn't want to, but that's back down to 1.3, which is more than reasonable, but it looks like that. Which, oddly enough, kind of matches this environment better. But I think I want solid shapes and colors and stuff like that. So for that, what can we do? Let's go to Photoshop and see if we can open it. Now I'm not sure if we can because it is a cube map and I don't know. So we'll see. Texture, that's EXR. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So this is what happens when you import that sort of thing. So it doesn't really work very well, obviously. So that's unfortunate. So, would I do that? I'm going to try something. What was it? This one. Yeah. So, you can download different types. tried HDR actually. Do it. Okay. So, well, let's. I want to see if we can open that in here. There. Okay. And let's see if we can do anything with it in here as well. So, skybox. Material. But now I'm just going to do some very simple filters because what's a good one? Laughter? Don't know my filters very well. Where's there's a cool shows the thing, right? Where's the gallery? Remember that being a cool thing. Interesting. Not what I want, but interesting. Um, go away. Let's go with it. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Fun. Yeah, that'll do. Save. Yeah, all right. That'll do. Okay, cool. Um, Now one thing I would like to add is a plane. Uh, plane. No, quad. Now a plane has a lot of polygons. A quad has like two. Uh, well, one. Um, so I would recommend if you're doing just flat objects that the quad is the way to go. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want water. Move that down slightly and then make that much bigger. So we have our water. We need a water material. Create material. But now we're just going to do very, very simple blue texture. Put that up here. I do want to make this. We'll go with transparent. Let's actually make it a little bit transparent. So to there. That should work. And drag and drop. Cool. Anything else we wanted to do quickly? Make that. uh, make this one a box collider so we can actually drive across it. All right, done. Save, and just over 2 hours for all of the things. So let's go playground, do a couple of races, and then we're good. How big is it? 15 meg. And like I don't like in comparison to the high quality HDR, this one is actually I kind of like it a lot better. The thing is also it's a bit dark, so I'm gonna fix that now too, just quickly. The amount of just quicklies. So for that one, now eventually I would do this with like light mapping, but for now I'm just gonna go directional. Make the intensity of this one so it's sunlight. So let's put this one up 0.6. And this one has no shadows at 0.4. And that should sort of brighten up some of the shadow spaces, which is what we want to do. So I'm just going to make sure this is gone. So note, the exports are in, so you got the project folder, you've got exports, and then they will import here. So if you need to find it manually, that's where it is. So we can just go playground. That's what I'm going to do. That's right. So the issue is like the light, all light is coming one direction. So there is going to be never light on that side. So we don't actually want that. So for the off light, I'm actually going to flip that a bit. So let's rotate that to this direction. Now that's a bit kind of too high. So I'm actually going to rotate that twice, maybe. Both of them. 1, 2. Okay. Be better. Save. Playground. The other issue is there's no light probes. So all of the light is like not great, to be honest. There's the green. Better go. Lighter. Oop. My quad has a mesh color as well. Okay, we'll fix that as up as well. All right. So lighting issues. 2.6 as well. See what happens there. Bright environment, that's fine. And yeah, the quad. This quad. So as you can see, the quad will automatically put a mesh collider on it, which we do not want. So we actually want to remove that so we can go swimming. I think that'll be it. That'll be exactly 2 hours and quarter. Fine. Much brighter. There we go. Actually, it's so bright it actually looks kind of stylized, so I don't mind that at all. Okay, that's cool. You can now go swimming. You can sort of see in there, which is great. I don't know if I'll put a shader on there as not sort of look like water. I'm happy that I decided that you can't go lower than that. So it looks like that works. So I got that. Ah, yeah. Like, do we make that jump hard or do we make it like kind of easy? And done. Okay, excellent. All right. So that is making a space with the assets that we've made in the past. So that's pretty cool. I will. What will I do? I think I want to make more. I want to make more of this. So like side stands, stuff like that. We also need some actual cars. So I'm putting that with Fractilians and Rizzle to get their VRMs ready, so we can start racing some of these cars. So I might have a chat to them to talk about standard sizes to make it fair. Um, Not that it matters, because once again, the collider is always going to be the same, which is about the shape of my guy. So that's one of the. It's not a problem. It's just like that's how it's done. So that's the thing. So yeah, this is how you would make a space from start to finish with assets that you could get. And I do plan on sort of once I make more elements to the track, I do intend on making this into a library package that you could download and start making your own little tracks. But I would like to sort of do more, so you could do cooler stuff. So better bridge parts, for example, rather than just the flat. I kind of want a curve as well, like the aerodrome, I guess you could say. Like I want to get that. Once again, the car won't lean, so it'll have to be like a slight one, but I would like a bit of something like that because I think that'd be cool. And yeah, just other signs and things that you could stick around the environment. So I've got that. All right. We'll call it there. Pretty much exactly 2 hours and 15 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it and have a good day. Hang on. Whoa. Interesting. Okay. Um, I can't chat anymore. They've changed it. Why would they do that? Oh, I'll look at that after. Okay. Have a good day. See you.